Welcome, Virgo moon sign people, to your Cancer full moon reading, December 2018. This is 10th house energy for you. Thank you for your patience. For those of you who have been waiting for some reading, I have really been doing a lot. Let's just put it that way. You can check me out on Instagram if you want to know what Great Mother Speaks has been up to. But otherwise, I'm glad to be doing this Cancer full moon reading for you. If you're new, Great Mother speaks to all of us through signs and symbols, particularly through our moon signs. So want you to know that for your moon sign, and this being 10th house energy, this is having to do with your life purpose, dharma, as we call it. And speaking of dharma, we also use the Vedic moon sign here, the soul sign, because we talk about intuition, which is how the soul communicates to the ego. The ego communicates to the soul through emotion, and that's the Western moon sign of Virgo. For most of you, your Vedic moon sign is going to be in Leo, and so you probably have a very strong intuition. You have probably a very playful intuition. It's probably so much so you don't sometimes recognize it as intuition, or you do and you really do enjoy your intuition a lot. So I want to encourage you to check out the links below and to watch the video that resonates best with you, either your Virgo moon sign or your Vedic moon sign. Some of you, your Vedic moon sign will also be Virgo. There's a 24-degree difference. This channel, however, is focused on those of us who have mama drama trauma. Everyone has mama drama, okay? Abuse, abandonment issues with parents, that is a natural part of the mother-child bond. However, consistent and persistent emotional, physical abuse is mama drama trauma. Trauma is feeling that in such a way that the mother has projected her unhealed issues onto the child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she's unable, unwilling, or unavailable to heal her own MDT, because it is a cycle, loving detachment is required. Loving detachment is accepting what is. And what is that we have the mother that we have. Okay? What is that we are divine beings who are meant to live beyond MDT. MDT is not the stamp for life. MDT identity is what I call it. We are divine beings who are dearly loved by Great Mother, Father God, never judged, condemned, or left alone. My coaching work focuses on mama drama trauma. In fact, I coined the term, and you can find more about my coaching work at mamadramatrauma.info. Book a session with me. I'll be glad to help you heal the mother that you want in order to accept the one that you have. And healing is about really releasing that fantasy mother to accept the one that we have. It's a grieving process and practice. If you want your own personal reading, check out greatmotherspeaks.info. For the general, however, Virgo moon sign people, Great Mother's coming through for you in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, sharing with you what this Cancer full moon also have this solstice energy going on too, don't we? It's the shortest day of the year, and that is the day that Great Mother truly embraces us, fully embraces us through the darkness, the shadows, the signs and symbols, and the shadows, that new moon energy that we just had on the 8th. The darkest moon is the most powerful Great Mother moon. We're talking about the mother of all mothers. Here we have mother archetypes, gods and goddesses, father archetypes and metaphors, as we are divine beings. And you are entering this full moon with the energy of Kuan Yin, compassion for yourself. You are recognizing, Virgo moon sign people, that there is a need for you to really take a beat and take care of yourself, really acknowledge the hard work that you've done, or how you have cared and taking care of others at this particular time. And that's a good card to enter this season with, this holiday season, because it's going to really open up your heart. It's a heart chakra crescent moon card, and so it's really opening up your heart to yourself and to others. Your transformative opportunity is fear, however, and that's the Kali card, the Hindu goddess here, who has the many hands and is transforming and transmuting fear. And so that is your transformative opportunity, is to really recognize that, as Dorothy is doing here, singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, this root chakra first quarter moon card is about making a conscious choice to act on something even in the face of fear. We're talking about courage here, being courageous with this self-compassion that you have. So with this sense of self-compassion that you need to recognize yourself and take care of yourself, expand that into others, expand that particularly into your work life as well, as that is where Cancer is at this particular time. Remember, Cancer is also where our North Node is at this time. So we have the full moon in the North Node right now. And so the North Node is the collective consciousness, where the collective consciousness is growing and evolving. And so you can take advantage of this energy and expand that self-compassion into a compassion that others, inviting others to have that compassion for you as well, despite whatever fears you may be experiencing in doing so. There's going to be a great reward in you having faith enough in yourself to do this. This is the Ra card. This is the waxing gibbous third eye moon card, when Oz dispenses the gifts to the three after they return to the castle with the broom. These are not gifts they expected. So you may not receive gifts that you expect at this particular time as a result of your efforts to expand your self-compassion to others. And maybe some of you have already done this. Maybe you have actually asked for something special for Christmas, or you've asked for extra time off from work, as this is in the 10th house. And maybe you are dealing with your father. Maybe you have daddy trauma, and you have been working to heal that. And you've been compassionate with yourself, and yet these are the holidays, and there's more yet always to deal with these issues, aren't there? You're going to receive a reward for expanding this compassion to others. In other words, the love that you're giving to yourself, inviting others to share that love with you, just as the three did. They loved themselves enough to go on that journey that required a great deal of courage, didn't it? They had to overcome their fears to go on that journey, didn't they? And they were rewarded for doing so. And so that's the same thing that's happening with you here. And I'm really happy to see in the center of your spread, there's a third quarter moon, which is all about release, which is about letting go and forgiveness. It's the Yang root chakra third quarter moon card, the law of mystery and divine order. There is a mystery here about how things are going to work out for you. It doesn't seem like things can, based on the challenges to you from your perspective. They seem insurmountable, but they're not. They're absolutely not. They are things that are going to be overcome through the law of mystery and divine order. There's a divine order to life that we are not privy to, because we tend to identify more with our ego than we do with our soul. So we're not as familiar with the divinity that is the order of the cosmos as opposed to the physical order of the world. We focus on knowing how to live in the physical world, because it is a reality of time and space that we are here and we are surviving in the physical form. And so it's, again, a judgment or condemnation. It's just a reality. Your Virgo sign is telling me that with this root chakra being ruled by Saturn, and Saturn being in Capricorn, that there may be some issues for you that have to do with restrictions as it relates to your children, your creativity at work, maybe some projects at work, or maybe you wanting to have a child with this Saturnal energy. I'm seeing that this energy is also yang energy. And so maybe a male is not cooperating with you or not wanting to have a child with you, or the father issue maybe. It doesn't seem like things will work out with you. You maybe feel ungrounded. But even if he doesn't reward you, even if he doesn't acknowledge the hard work that you've done, or accept your invitation for the compassion, let's say, so to speak, in this situation, again, an unexpected reward from another avenue of life will come with regard to that, that will appease that need that you have to be satisfied in that regard, if we are but open to the divine order of life. That's a very important law card. You have 3 of them, and all of the law cards are third quarter moon cards. They're all release and forgiveness cards. And so forgiving someone of their limitations, in other words, forgiving someone of their inability to meet you where you are. Because in your shadow position, you have the law of destiny and free will. And so that means that you have the ability with this single yin, double yang card. You have your own yang energy. You don't need, perhaps in the past you needed the yang energy to get things done. Maybe with the child, for example, surrogacy, that's a good example. Artificial insemination would be an example. Or again, with your father, it might not be your father. It might be a manager at work, or it might be your own mate. It could be whatever yang energy that's around you, that's supporting you, that is going to give you that creative force field, that creatrix of androgynous energy to choose from. It's an abundant source. It's an abundant source of life. And the law of destiny and free will says you have a choice to get from it what you will at any time, to receive from it at any time. It's just a matter of consciousness. It's a matter of choice. And the choice is to have the courage to overcome the fear and receive the rewards that are being offered to you from unexpected places, unexpected sources. You're dancing with this. You're dancing with the double yin symbol. And the double yin, the doctor card, is not just the feminine energy, but you have the double feminine energy, which is the intuitive, the deep intuitive energy. You're dancing with knowing that there's an intuition about this self-compassion, about expanding this self-compassion as a way of life for you right now, Virgo, as opposed to perhaps the tendency toward maybe self-critique or the over self-analysis. You've come to a point of exasperation and frustration, and realizing that that's not the way to go for you. And so intuitively, you know that the law of Divine Mother, that the intuitional downloads you're receiving about taking care of yourself from a more expanded perspective, allowing others to also love you, is where you need to go. And in order to do that, Great Mother is saying you need to release any illusion that you're unworthy. Sometimes we can assign love duties, I like to call it, to particular people. We want particular people to do specific things. I want my father to love me this way. I want my husband to love me this way. I want my children to love me this way. And this is their role. This is how they fit together in loving me. And we don't consciously do this at all, which is why it's really interesting to know your Vedic moon sign. And I'd love to do a lunar reading with you to go deeper into that so that you can really understand how this works. We assign these emotional tasks to people, and sometimes they feel them and sometimes they don't. And we forget that just as we're constantly growing and evolving, other people are constantly growing and evolving too. And so whereas they could fulfill that role at one point in their lives and in our lives, they cannot at another point. And that's when we tend to get really upset. But that's when the law of mystery and divine order comes in, because in being familiar with the divine law and the order of things, we know that we all have free will, and that's in your shadow position. You have free will, and everybody has free will. We have a choice of how we love people, and we should allow people the choice. Allow people to love you the way that they can, when they can, how they can. Doesn't make you any difference when you know that you're divine. You know that you're loved anyway. You know, your life isn't going to go any particular different direction, how they love you, if they love you or not, you know. So it's all about you, and you are at a place where you really understand this, and you're wanting to expand this understanding in the world. And so by the new moon, if you haven't since this past new moon in Sagittarius on the 8th, by Capricorn new moon, the Maya, the illusion, this third eye, this Cancer is letting me know that for many of you, you've already come to this understanding of releasing the illusion that you're not worthy, which is why you have the self-compassion. But for those of you who haven't gotten to the point of self-compassion, by the next new moon, this full moon in Cancer will have charged the energy so to propel you in that direction of more self-compassion, because what's facilitating you releasing the illusion of unworthiness is your personal power to do so. You know that you have the power, Virgo moon sign people. You know that you have the power. And on a soul level, you know that this power from this Leo moon sign is what is shining the light in your life to live your greatest hour at this particular time in your life. And not knowing how things are going to turn out is the rule of uncertainty. That is where true power is. Because when you decide to own your divinity in uncertainty, that is when you really begin to ride the wave of experiencing your divinity. And that's exactly where you are. That's exactly where you are. So embrace it. Embrace it. There is a law of mystery and divine order, and I just gave you a real big clue about how to work that. How to work that. Doing so, your final outcome is owning your beauty. You're going to be able to own that beauty of your divinity if you aren't already, Virgo moon sign people. This is fantastic during the solstice. Your soul sign, Leo, is ruled by the sun. And so even though it's the shortest day of the year, it's a very powerful solstice. And it is a solstice that reminds us of the Christ consciousness that has been dispensed upon the planet to remind us of that divinity. And this is what propels us forward. This is a throat chakra waning gibbous moon card that says that in speaking and sharing your truth with the world, you're also able to hear where and how others value you and appreciate you in new ways. In other words, releasing through the law of mystery and divine order, through the law of destiny and free will and the law of divine mother, allowing yourself to be open to how people love you the way that they do, you're going to see how beautiful you really are and experience that in new ways and activate it through your life, through your sun sign in your work life as well. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. Hope you have a wonderful solstice season and holiday season, however you celebrate it. But above all, and most of all, through it all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I'm a divine child of the Great Mother Father God. A divine child of the Great Mother Father God. I'm a divine child of the Great Mother Father God. A divine child of the Great Mother Father God. I am Great Mother, the still small voice of the Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother. Cosmic womb, deep space, the moon. Dark matter, the void, the black hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana. Mommy Easter, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary. I am your mother. Your terrestrial, celestial, feminine nature. I unconditionally love you. Hello, Divine One caught in the net of your creation. You are not doomed to it. I am here to unravel it, remind you, you are loved. signs and symbols of astrology, chemistry, geology, geometry, numerology, botany, and biology. Don't you remember? Don't you remember? Great Mother speaks to the humble among us. Great Mother speaks to the humble among us. Divine children of the Great Mother, Father God. Divine children of the Great Mother, Father God. Born hard, so don't even start with me. Born hard, so don't even start with me. Know the difference between emotion and intuition. Know the difference between emotion and intuition. I'm a divine child of the Great Mother, Father God. A divine child of the Great Mother, Father God. I'm a divine child of the Great Mother, Father God. A divine child of the Great Mother, Father God. I am Great Mother, the still small voice of the Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother. Cosmic womb, deep space, the moon. Dark matter, the void, the black hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana.